Good evening, everyone. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening, and it's the On the Mark program here on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse once again. It is the 22nd day of October, 2025. It's been a while since you've heard my voice, but I'm here with you this evening. I'm sure you realize by now that the regular host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is not in this evening, and so I am here with you, Honorable Eric Evelyn, and so I'm here sitting in for the Honorable Mark Brantley tonight, and so you're going to have me this evening on the show. And so let me take this opportunity to say good evening and welcome to the On the Mark program once again. It's, as I said, it's a beautiful Wednesday evening here in Queen City, Nevis. It's always a pleasure to have all of you in tune, and so I greet all of you who are here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, those in the rest of the Caribbean, those in the diaspora. It's always such a pleasure to have you in tune and logged on to the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse Vaughan Radio 860 on your AM dial, www.vaughanradio.com. And I know a lot of persons look forward to this program every Wednesday evening. We're here every Wednesday from 8 until 10 on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, the only powerhouse. And of course, there's a rebroadcast on a Thursday at 1 p.m. So normally persons who do not get the show on a Wednesday listen on a Thursday, and of course a lot of persons who listen on a Wednesday, they listen again on a Thursday, because On the Mark is always so good. And the pleasure is mine this evening to be here with you. As I said, we are here until 10 o'clock. Of course, we know that On the Mark is a very widely listened to program, one of the most popular, I believe, in the region. We've been here with this program for a number of years, and we continue to get some excellent reviews about the program, both here and of course in the diaspora as well. And so we greet all of you who are with us this evening. We are encouraging you to stay with us for the entire 2 hours. We know that this is a program, no commercial breaks, and so it's straight talk across the Narrows every Wednesday night here on Vaughan Radio. So once again, it's a pleasure to have you with us this evening, and we invite you to stay with us. This evening, I have a guest with me, and you know I like to have company when I'm here with On the Mark. I don't like to be here lonely, so I like to have company when I have On the Mark, and so I have a guest with me this evening. But before we get to our guest, of course, we know we normally do some little housekeeping matters at the top of the show, and so at this point I just want to greet all those who may be celebrating today, or may have celebrated yesterday or during the week, or who might be celebrating during the rest of the week. And so we say happy birthday to anyone who is celebrating a birthday today. We greet you. We trust that you've had a wonderful day, and we hope that you're going to have an even better evening. I always encourage persons when they're celebrating to celebrate in style. Do whatever you want to do. Life is so fleeting nowadays, and so uncertain, is so short, and so when your birthday comes around, you can celebrate in style and do whatever you want to do. Belated birthday greetings to Sharonique Reed there in Burton Pastor. You celebrated your birthday yesterday. I hope you had a great day. Well, of course, you did say you had a wonderful day yesterday, so hope you had a great day yesterday, Sharonique. And those who have celebrated this week, those who are celebrating today, those who are celebrating for the rest of the week, we greet you. Hope that you're going to have a wonderful time. Those who are celebrating anniversaries as well, we greet you as well. If you're celebrating an anniversary today, whatever the occasion is that you're celebrating, we say congratulations to you. Continue to celebrate. I wanted this time as well, as since we're talking about celebration and congratulations, I wanted this time to congratulate Mr. Damien Big Six Pemberton. I think everybody in Nevis knows Big Six by now. Yes, he operates that restaurant there on Main Street in Gingerland. Of course, he's a great chef, and he showed his greatness this past weekend, because you know sometime back, a couple of weeks ago, we had a grill master competition organized by the Gender Affairs Department here in Nevis that was hosted at the VOJN grounds, and Big Six was among some of the participants who took part in that competition. Big Six won that local leg of the competition at VOJN, and so he went on to represent Nevis at the Dr. Packer Grill Master competition that is hosted in Palm Bay, Florida annually. And so Big Six got the opportunity to go to Florida And listen, he represented well. Yes, Big Six, we understand that you blew away the competitors. You won the show hands down. And so congratulations to you. I know that's bragging rights for you. I know how happy you are at this moment. We are all happy for you as well. So big congratulations to the man, Big Six indeed. Of course, Big Six is my cousin, so I'm extra happy for you, Big Six. So well done, well done. And I know that you're going to be on top of the world for a very, very long time. So congratulations to Big Six, and congratulations to you, Dr. Packer, for once again hosting what I understand was a very successful event. Quite a good turnout, I understand, again, Dr. Packer. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to our very own Big Six for winning that competition in Florida. So Big Six, I don't know if you're going to be going back next year to defend the crown. I don't know. But at least we are happy that you would have won the competition this year. And of course, we also want to say good evening to those who are in the bereaved column as well. We've had a lot of persons in the bereaved column lately, and so we want to greet those of you in the bereaved column. We know that it's never easy. It's never easy when you lose a loved one, and so we want to greet those of you who are in the bereaved column as well. We want to greet the family of the late Oretha Nolan from Rollins. My good friend Oretha, she would have been laid to rest on Monday, and so we greet all of her relatives and friends at a wonderful service there at the Church of God in Fenton Hill on Monday. And of course we continue to pray for and greet the family of the late Iola Jeffers. She was laid to rest yesterday, and so we say good evening and condolences, continued condolences and prayers to Mr. Toya Jeffers and the rest of her family. I know it is a sad, very, very, very sad loss, and so we continue to pray for you from hear from us at On the Mark, and we hope that you will continue to heal and heal well. I want to say good night as well to Candice and Bernadette Brown. You would have lost a brother, and so we say condolences to you. And of course we say condolences to the family of Leighton Selkridge and to the family of the late Sharina Pemberton. My good friend Dream, to you and the children, I hope that you are doing pretty okay. I know it's a very, very sad loss for you and the three children, and I know it's going to be very rough on you, Dream, but I know you have a big family and a supportive family, and I know that they will be with you during this very, very difficult time. So anyone else who is in the bereaved column, we greet you as well. And of course, we want to say good evening to those who may not be feeling so well, those of persons who may be a little bit under the weather this evening. We greet you as well and trust that you're going to get over your brief period of illness, whatever might be. We hope that you'll get over it pretty quickly. And of course, we always greet the folks at the Alexandra Hospital and the folks at the Flamboyant Nursing Home and the St. George and St. John Home as well. We greet those persons who are there. We greet the persons who are taking such excellent care of them as well, and we ask that you continue to do that. And as I speak about the Flamboyant Home, I just want to say a special congratulations and kudos to the staff there at the Flamboyant Nursing Home. I was there at the Flamboyant Nursing Home today, spent a little time there. They were having something special for the residents there at the home, and trust me, I must say kudos and commendation to the staff there, the nurse manager and the staff for doing a marvelous job in looking after the residents of the Flamboyant Nursing Home. They were all looking so great today. We had the Sugar Hill String Band playing for them today. We had the Honeybee String Band playing for them today. So that's why I was there. And so we were so delighted to be there, spending some time with the seniors. And it was so good to see those persons, the residents of the Flamboyant Nursing Home, looking so good. I was extra happy to see some persons from my own constituency, Miss Marjorie Knight, who is 97, and she's looking so wonderful. It was happy to see people like Idita Freeman and Cooley and Bobsy and all the other folks who were there. They were just glowing today. and I'm sure they were very happy to get the sounds of the string band. Some of them got up to dance. I was so happy when I saw like Miss Teresa Dye. She was sitting in her wheelchair. She insisted that she has to get up to dance. She had to get up and dance, do a little jig to the string band, and it was so good. And the persons who worked there were so helpful to them, and it was just a delight to see the joy on their faces there at the seniors at the Flamboyant Nursing Home. So great job. The PS was there as well. So great job to the team there at the Flamboyant Nursing Home. You're doing a marvelous, marvelous job with those residents there. And as I speak about seniors, I think everybody knows how much I love seniors. And I just came from NEPAC, where the seniors are having their show, Seniors Got Talent. And trust me, I'm sorry that I had to leave early because I wanted to take in all of the show, but I had to be here as well. But I got in some of the show, and trust me, it is, those seniors are really, 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 really good. I mean, what I saw, the singing, the poem, the playing of the saxophone, the dancing, I have to say that, one of the seniors in particular, she invited me to come to NEPAC. She said, you have to come and see me dance to the marshmallow. And I blame Webo, I blame Webo because Webo is in Webo loves this song so much, and because Webo plays this song so much on the radio, one of the seniors decided that she had to dance to the marshmallow this evening. And so Verna Daniel from Hamilton, you did a great job in dancing to the marshmallow, right? And so kudos to the seniors, kudos to the seniors division there at Social Services for really doing a good job with our seniors. And I was very, very, very entertained this evening with the variety that I saw on the stage there at NEPAC. So kudos. As I said, I'm sorry that I had to leave early, but I was able to get in some of it. It started just a little after 6 o'clock. And so I was able to get in a good piece of the seniors. I think they're having their sports day this coming Friday as well from 11 o'clock at the ETW Park. And so we are inviting you to go out and support them. I think it's $10 to enter the park on Friday. So I always encourage persons to go on out and encourage and support the seniors. I mean, as I said, they're a group of people that I absolutely love and absolutely love to be around. And so I was delighted to be there at NEPAC this evening to support the seniors. And well, we are almost at that time when now we're going to be introducing our guests. But just before I do that, I also want to remind, I know the Honorable Mark Brantley would have said it last week. I think he said it, I'm not sure if he said it the week before as well, but we want to remind our listeners that this coming Sunday at NEPAC from 4 p.m., it's a Big Blue Machine, and we will be there for our convention. The Concerned Citizens Movement will be having our convention at NEPAC at 4 o'clock this coming Sunday, the 26th of October. And so we're inviting all of you, all of Nevis, to come out and support the Big Blue Machine. Of course, this is the only party of choice, the only party that looks out for Nevis, Nevisians, and residents. So we're asking you to come out and continue to show us your overwhelming support. All right, I think that's quite a mouthful at the top of the show, and so I am happy now that I'm going to get to my guest, because I believe my guest is very anxious to speak, because I know he's no stranger to the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, and I believe he has a lot to share with us this evening, and I'm so happy that he have decided to join us here on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse this evening. Now, of course, this is the month of October, and this is a month when we celebrate so many things. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, it's Financial Literacy Month, it's the month for the teachers, it's the month for I don't know why everybody celebrates in October. I don't know why, but that has been the case for many years now, and we are delighted to have someone with us this evening who is going to be focusing on one of those areas. And so I'm going to ask him to introduce himself, because I said he's no stranger to the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse. So I'm going to ask him now to introduce himself to us.
Thank you, Minister, Honorable Minister Evelyn. For those who don't know who I am by now, I'm Dr. Tivon Brown. I am a district medical officer
Hold on, my guest. Seem to be having a little issue there with the microphone, so I'm gonna get our technician to come and sort you out properly, because of course everybody in Radio Land and those who are viewing online will want to hear you and hear you very well. So just give us a minute and we're gonna get you sorted out. I think our technician has you sorted out now.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Right, there we go.
Good to go now. All right, so we'll get back to our guests, and so you'll start at the top and you introduce yourself.
All right. So again, thank you for inviting me here, Honorable Minister Evelyn. For those who don't know who I am by now, my name is Dr. Tivon Brown. I'm a district medical officer working for the Nevis Island Administration, and my specialty is preventive medicine and also primary medicine.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Brown, as I indicated, you are not a stranger to Vaughan Radio, because I've heard you on Vaughan Radio. I've heard you on the news on Vaughan Radio many times. So many persons may have heard you, but a lot of people still don't know who Dr. Tivon Brown is. So give us a little bit of background about yourself. Tell us who is Dr. Tivon Brown.
All right. So a little history of me.
Yes.
I hail from Butler's Village. That's where I was born and raised. My mother, Hyacinth Pemberton, my father, Stanley Brown. I came up in Butler's a long time ago when...
Don't say a long time ago, because you're still young.
Well, it's long to me. Times change fast, you know.
Okay.
So back then we were still riding bikes on the streets.
Yes.
Back then, you know, the roads weren't even what they are today. I lived in Prospect for a while. I went to the Gingerland High School. I went off to CFBC, and then I went to the St. George's University Medical School.
That's in Grenada?
That's in Grenada, yes.
Okay.
So that's where I did my pre-med. And after I finished pre-med, I was selected for a scholars program in the UK at Northumbria University in Newcastle. I studied there for 2 years, and then I went to the US. My first location was Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, where I rotated at Emory University Hospitals. That's where I learned my first core elements of medicine. After Emory, a year in Emory, I moved to Brooklyn, New York, and I went to the Brooklyn Kings County Hospital. And that's where I spent my second year medical school, toiling away at more family medicine and preventive medicine cores. After that, during the COVID pandemic, I moved to Canada. I was living in Alberta, Canada, working for the Alberta Health Services during the COVID pandemic. Spent 2 years there, and then I came back to the soil, because there's no place like home.
Precisely.
No place like home. Came back here and started working for the Ministry of Health. And, you know, I've seen, when I came here initially, I saw a need for a more active role in the community aspect of medicine. And I wanted to fill that void, because community medicine is really where my passion is. That's where my heart is. And I think that's where we could do a lot more, you know, have a bigger effect in community medicine. Because at the point where you get to the hospital, we're treating you for something. But in the community, we are trying to prevent you from getting something and ending up at the hospital. So to me, that model is always the best. Prevention, better than cure. We hear it growing up over and over and over and over again. And that's something that stuck with me forever into my profession. And I practice it daily. I lecture it to my patients. I talk to anybody on the street. And I talk here in the media all about prevention. And that's kind of what we're trying to get into tonight as well.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, as I listen to you, Dr. Brown, I have to tell you that I am impressed. Well, ever since I heard you on Vaughan Radio, I've been impressed from day one. But I was impressed with all of these colleges and universities that you've been to, because for whatever reason, I thought that you went to Cuba.
Oh.
I know most of our young doctors here
Yes.
go to Cuba. So I was always of the opinion that you went off to Cuba, not knowing that you had so many experiences in all these different countries. And as I said, I was really impressed with the long list and your passion and so on. And one of the main reasons why I'm so impressed, I have to tell you, I like to see when people come from very humble beginnings and could reach where you have reached. I know your mom came from very humble beginnings in Butlers.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think you probably know, but I am impressed as well because our families have a history. You would not know, but my father and your great-grandfather and your great-grandmother were friends. As a matter of fact, my father was your great-grandfather's boss at,
Really?
at Madden's.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he worked at Madden's.
Yes.
Okay.
So my father was the manager at Madden's. So he and your great-grandfather were very good friends. He was his boss, and then your great-grandmother as well. So when I hear you speaking there, I feel extra proud as well because I said our family has had that history.
No, thank
You
you.
know, so I am very, very impressed, and I'm happy to hear how you have developed so far. Now, what inspired you to go into medicine anyway?
Well, it's actually my great-grandfather.
Okay.
He was a big part of that, and my great-grandmother as well, both of them. So, you know, back when we were growing up in Butlers, we grew up under their roof.
Right.
So, you know, we had a big extended family. And my great-grandfather, he used to, you know, take care of animals.
Yes.
He used to castrate animals as well. And I was always interested in that.
Okay.
Like, I found that very interesting, how he would care for the animals, how he would, you know, kind of handle them and everything. And I thought, well, is there something like that for people? And unfortunately, over time, he got ill. And I spent a lot of time with him in his last days. And me and my young 5-year-old self, I would help shave. I would shave his beard. I would help him get ready.
Yes.
And you know, I got great joy from that. When he passed, I felt a great loss. And you know, I thought maybe if I could become a doctor, I could, you know, kind of keep people from ending up in that place, right?
Right.
And you know, as my great grandmother aged, I would accompany her to church. I would walk her home from church, and we would spend a lot of time together as well. During school vacations, I would spend almost every vacation with her at home, learning how to cook, how to make Johnny cakes,
Nice.
you know, helping her clean up and all of these things. And as I grew, it just kind of cemented in me that taking care of people is really what I want to do. And I always loved science, so I put those two things together, taking care of people, science, and I got medicine.
Good. Any plans to specialize at any point in time?
Well, I'm already special in preventive medicine.
Okay.
Yes,
So you're not planning to do anything else after that.
Well, not right now, but who knows what the future holds.
All right. Now, I am happy that at least you're also doing some work in the community as well. It's good that you can spread your wings. I know sometimes the older folks, sometimes they're a little skeptical when young doctors come on the scene, right?
Yes.
You seem a very confident young man, right? How have the older folks warmed up to you? How have they received you when you go out into the community?
Wow. Well, initially you find some skepticism, but after we talk and after we converse and we get to know each other, I hope they're out there listening, but I love them as much as they love me.
Okay.
Like, it's a tight bond. Some of them I feel like they are my grandparents, they are my aunts, they're my uncles. You know, like we have a tight bond. Even yesterday, you know, I was in Cumbermere area attending the funeral of Miss Iola Jeffers, rest in peace, and I saw some of my old patients over there, and it was like we just saw each other yesterday. The embraces, the love. You know, we just share so much. It's a tight bond for me. And, you know, I think that came from me spending a lot of time with my great-grandmother as well.
Yes.
And my grandmothers as well, too.
Right.
But mostly my great-grandmother. Spending so much time with her, I think some of that age wisdom maybe, like, you know, came onto me. And it gave me a perspective of how the elders think, how they talk, how they see and perceive things. And I identify with them in a deep way.
Fantastic.
I'll say that much.
Great. Now, Dr. Brown, let us get down to what we're going to be discussing this evening. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and well, we're going to focus a little bit on breast cancer, but I wanted us to focus generally on cancer.
Yes.
For this evening, for our discourse this evening, and those of you who are out there listening, and you may want to ask Dr. Brown a question a little later on. We're going to open the lines just in case you want to ask him any question. Right now, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Right. I know you're not an expert in cancer, but you're a doctor, so I know you have a lot of knowledge.
Oh yes.
Right. I know you have a lot of knowledge.
I'll find something.
Right. So, okay. So, Has there been an increase in the incidence of breast cancer on Nevis
Yes,
recently?
there has been an increase, and in part to that, I think it's the increase in surveillance that we've been, doing,
Yes.
especially since we got that mammogram machine at Alexandra Hospital. The more you screen, the more we check for things. Of course, there's going to be increased cases, but that's a good thing in a sense. The earlier we catch people, early detection, that's the most important part, because if we get you at the earliest stages possible, we can do minor interventions to put that at bay, get that out of your system, versus if we wait until we are at stage 4, stage 3, the interventions, the options we have are even less effective, put you through more of a strain. I mean, some people complain about the price of getting a mammogram or the price of getting an ultrasound done on the breast. And, well, if you compare the price of that
To treatment.
you're not mortgaging you're not leveraging your house
Precisely.
to get treatment done, but you spend 250, 300 a year on check-in, and you compare that to the tens of thousands you spend just on treatment, and it's a no-brainer for me.
Okay, Dr. Brown, you said that there has been a definite increase in the incidence of breast cancer on Nevis. You spoke about the use of the mammogram, and which I assume that people are taking advantage of the mammogram.
Yes. Oh yes.
So there has been a good usage.
Very good.
Fantastic,
Very good.
fantastic.
I mean, I'm happy for it.
Good.
I get to send patients straight up to Alexandra instead of having to go to St. Kitts to get it done.
Okay. So we're saying here that we are seeing this increase, and it could be because more people are testing. We
Yes.
now have a mammogram machine, more people are testing. But apart from the fact that more people are testing, do you think, from your standpoint, is there other underlying factors which is causing an increase in breast cancer,
Well,
apart from the fact that more people are testing?
so it all goes back to our lifestyle. Back then, we were more natural. We ate from the land. We drank naturally from the land. And nowadays, we consume more processed foods. We consume more things stored in plastics at high temperatures, and we know the plastics leach out into food and water. And, we're not as healthy. We don't exercise as much. We don't eat as much vegetables and fruits as we should. These things are antioxidants. They take out the damaged cells that we have within us and clean our bodies. And we don't eat as much of those as we normally do, and we eat a lot of these processed foods, all these chemicals in our bodies, they accumulate. And, I just want to go back to what cancer is, because a lot of people are confused about cancer. Some people think cancer is something that comes from the outside, that we get into the body and it goes, crazy. But cancer is just really our own body's unregulated growth. We have certain parts of our bodies that grow continuously. Our skin, it grows all the time. It sheds. Our hair grows all the time. The stomach linings grow all the time. The mouth linings, they grow all the time. And, these things, they grow, they die, they shed, and the new cells underneath, they come up to replace them. But in the case of cancer now, that growth is unregulated, unchecked. It just keeps going and going and going and going non-stop. Now, certain things in the environment may trigger these growths. For example, for skin cancer, overexposure to the sun will cause that. If we eat processed foods and chemicals, we damage the stomach lining, the intestinal linings, and that would cause the unregulated growth, which would cause stomach cancer or intestinal cancer, colon cancer. So this unregulated growth could come from these processed foods and this lack of eating fresh fruits and vegetables that would clean up the system. So I think that we're moving into this new age of processed junk foods, and that is contributing heavily to our cases of cancer here, plus the use of plastics and styrofoam.
But that was one of the best explanations I've had of cancer. Because normally we hear about all these different cancers, but I've never heard that in-depth explanation in terms of what cancer is.
Oh, yes.
You know, because as you rightly said, sometimes, I mean, people don't really understand what cancer is, you know. Okay, now, over the years that we have seen the increase in breast cancer here on the island of Nevis, is there an age correlation? Do we find more older women getting it? Do we find more younger women getting it? Do we find more middle-aged women contracting breast cancer? What has been the trend?
So the trend mostly falls within the middle age to, I would say about 60. So we could say about 50 to 60 is where we really start seeing the increase in breast cancer among women and, you know, the men also who may contract it. In general, that's about the same range you find for cancers as well. But, you know, looking at the statistics for St. Kitts and Nevis, between 2017 and 2022, you see the trend for cancers really starting to increase at age 20. As young as 20, we really start seeing. I mean, you have a few outliers in the younger ages, but 20 is when you really start to see the cases going up, up, up. And at 50 is when they start to peak. Middle age 50. I mean, could we even consider 50 middle age anymore?
Well, I think so, of course. You know, I know when people are 60 now, they're calling you a senior at 60.
I think that's too young for that now.
Of course,
Yes.
but they're calling people senior at 60 now. You know, now, Dr. Brown. Normally, when people are diagnosed, of course, you indicated earlier that there's early detection now,
Yes.
which is good. Of course, different people's bodies are different; they react differently. You know, some may be stronger than some. When someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, they're detected early. What are the survival chances?
Very high. Very, very high. I mean, close to 100. Early detection, unless it's a rare aggressive form that the medications we have now cannot control. Early detection, you get it out surgically, you do a little chemotherapy or your radiation therapy, and that keep you good for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Yes.
Dr. Brown, do you think, I know over the years there seem to have been some stigma attached to breast cancer as well. Do you think that stigma is still there, and could it be one of the things that sometimes prevent the ladies from going to get the mammogram done?
Well, Honorable, I have been doing screenings at TDC every Saturday for this month of breast cancer awareness. I mean, this coming Saturday would be the last one, so for those out there who haven't been to TDC to get their free screening done, we are there. The team is there performing screenings from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, during these screenings, I experienced some people who are, you know, they're very hesitant. You ask them the questions: do you self-examine? Do you ever had a mammogram? You ever been examined? Ever thought about getting examined for breast cancer? And, you know, some people, they say no. They never did it, or the last one was 10 years ago or something like that. And this should be an annual thing. From the age of 40, we should start doing these mammograms. We should start getting these exams. I mean, even before 40, we should be doing self-exams and trying to get an idea of our specific architecture, so that when a lump or anything develop, God forbid, you would know. You'd be the first one to detect that, and you could head to a doctor in quick time.
And I also understand that the health promotion unit is doing some examination and encouraging
Yes.
people to come out as well.
Yes, yes.
You could tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the health promotion unit is one of the most active components of our healthcare system, and I gotta give it out to the team every time. I love working with the HPU, but this month you could come in, you get free advice, examinations can be given. At the health centers as well, the nurses would be doing examinations. You come in on any given day, ask, book an appointment, and these examinations could be done. They teach you how to examine yourself, the best ways, the best methods. Is practice, practice, practice.
So, what would you say to women who are still afraid of getting tested?
The fear in testing is the fear of the unknown. And it's a little bit of irrationalness in us as human beings. Much like our men, we're afraid to go to the doctors, we're afraid to get tested for prostate cancer and such. Women should be a little bit better at that, in that they're the ones who usually carry us.
Yes.
So, for the women out there who are still afraid of getting a mammogram or getting a self-exam or getting a doctor to examine you, there's not much to fear in this situation. The mammogram is a bit uncomfortable, I must admit, but after the test, you have a peace of mind for at least a year. After the self-exam, you have a peace of mind. After the exam by the doctor, you have a peace of mind. Nothing could, let's say, nothing is worth more than that peace of mind. I sleep better at night knowing I did my blood work, I did all my STD testing, I'm negative, I'm good. I feel better that way than be worrying about these things that, you know, you could easily get a test done. The worry alone, the stress alone, is something that deteriorates us. So for me, and I think for everybody out there, getting tested, knowing your status, knowing where you are as a person is one of the best things you could do for yourself and for your loved ones.
But Dr. Brown, on the flip side of that, I have also heard people make the case, and almost justifiably so as well, that they prefer not to know. Because if they know, they're going to worry, they're going to stress even more.
Okay,
right?
That's justifiable.
I remember I heard a lady saying once that she don't go to the doctor. She don't want to know. Because she said, if I know that I'm sick, I'm going to worry myself to death. And I believe I'm going to die faster if I know. Right? So there are those persons out there who are saying, listen, I don't go to the doctor. I prefer not to know if I am sick, and I prefer to just continue living life, because if I go to the doctor and I find out tomorrow that I have cancer, you know, I mean, they may say that is the end of life for them. And that brings me to my next question, because if a lady goes to get a mammogram, she gets the result back. The doctor said, I'm sorry, but you have breast cancer. Is that a death sentence for that person?
No, absolutely not. Definitely not a death sentence, especially in these days, and especially in Nevis, where we have such good health care.
Yes.
Where people provide, the government provides. You know, if you need help with anything, there's always help in Nevis. That's the beauty of a small community like this. We help each other, we look out for each other, always. No, that's not a death sentence at all. We have great medication, we have great doctors. What you can't find here, you could get help finding elsewhere as well. If you need something special that we don't have here, we all would help that person get what they need. So it's not a death sentence. Even if, you know, you delay treatment a bit, it's not a death sentence.
Wow. Some excellent information coming up here. Now, Dr. Brown, you indicated earlier on that, of course, the incidence of breast cancer there are more cases. There are more cases. That goes without saying.
Yes.
So, what would you say to women who may not have gotten tested yet, and who think they may have a chance of breast cancer or getting breast cancer? What would you say generally to women to say, well, what can I do to prevent getting breast cancer? I know you spoke earlier about the foods and so on.
Yes.
But anything else generally that people can do, that women can do?
We have to live a good lifestyle, as we said before. The food, the exercise, living a stress-free life as much as possible. Getting tested.
Can stress bring on cancer as well?
Stress could aggravate it, that's for sure. Yes, that's for sure. But early detection, testing, that's the best way forward for these kind of things. That's the prevention model, screening. We emphasize heavily in screening, especially, you know, in Nevis and in Caribbean countries where, you know, we don't have the technology necessary to get these things done. You know, in the event that somebody gets to that stage that, you know, they need aggressive treatment. So it's better for us as a smaller country to get as much people screened for any particular illness as possible. And that way we could catch these diseases early on, or even catch the pre-stage to these diseases early on, so that we could just stop it right there.
When a lady goes to the doctor and the doctor gives her that piece of bad news, you have breast cancer, I know that could be very devastating, very, very devastating. What kind of advice would you have for that lady who would have just gotten that piece of bad news?
My advice would be to hold on strong, lean in your support system, whether that be your church, your mosque, your family, your temple, whoever, wherever, whatever that is. Lean strongly into that and not into the despair. Because in that, you may not have the hope in that moment, but somebody around you could hold you up while you're in that weak spot.
I'm happy you said that, because I mean there may be some persons who we spoke about the stigma earlier on, and there may be some persons who feel a little bit ashamed that they would have gotten this news and feel that they need to just go into a shell. Don't tell anybody, don't tell their family, don't tell their friends, and they may want to deal with it on their own. What would you say to those type of persons?
That is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see in these kind of cases. I have been attending deaths, unfortunately, where the family members, they never knew what their family member was suffering with.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dead serious. No pun intended. But you know, it's
even the close family.
Yeah, brothers, sisters, mothers, daughters, sons. They never knew. They had an idea, or they started noticing the changes maybe weeks before the passing, but you know, these people, they had the diagnosis years, and they never years, and they never communicated that to the family members, to their friends, to their support system, and they just chose to battle it on their own. And you know, it kind of makes the end tougher. It's rough. It's seriously rough. I mean, I've seen the despair of the family. I've seen the despair of the patients in the last moments, and it leaves a big hole. You know, you don't tell your daughter, your son, that you have this thing, and you try to fight it on your own. You don't seek any kind of help, any attention, or anything like that. And then when you come to the last end of it, they're watching you like, why? You know, they feel a hurt within themselves that you didn't trust them enough with your condition, you know, your tough moment, your toughest moment. You couldn't call on the people who are supposed to be closest to you to help you through it. And it's tough on them, you know, during that passing moment. And, you know, after you're gone, they're still left with that hurt.
And they were probably still asking why. Why didn't mommy tell me? Why didn't daddy tell me? Why didn't my brother tell me? Why didn't my sister tell me?
You know, they feel hurt by this thing, because they want to know what they could have done, or what did they do to you to make you not trust them enough to try and help you. And that's not what you want. That's not what anybody wants, you know. You want to have a peaceful life with the persons closest to you. You want to inspire confidence in them and let them know that you have their confidence. There's people out there we could all trust. We all have somebody we could lean on. And if we don't have somebody we could lean on, we lean on a stranger from the counseling unit, a stranger from the behavioral health unit, somebody certified who can help you through these moments. Or you lean on the doctor who gave you the diagnosis.
Precisely. Because I'm sure you as a practicing doctor would be very happy to give as much support as you possibly can, as much moral support to any patients who need that.
Oh, yes. That's all I'm here to do, help. So you could lean on people. There's people out there you could lean on. You may not think it, you may not feel it in that moment, but there are people. There's always somebody in your periphery you could lean on in your toughest moments.
You know, what you're saying underscores exactly. I had Dr. Essien and Dr. Badalis here on the program probably 2 months ago, and that is exactly one of the main things they were saying. You know, she was saying that, you know, she have gotten so much support from her family, in particular her family structure, her husband and her children, and she was telling me that many times she wanted to give up, but you know, the family members encouraged her to hold on. You know, so what you just said totally underscored what they were saying. Folks, we are here with Dr. Tivon Brown this evening here on the Mark, and we are discussing breast cancer. We'll be discussing other cancers in a bit, but any question that you may have, I know a lot of persons out there might be listening and may have questions, and you want to ask Dr. Brown a question, you're free to call in. The lines would be open, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. So we will continue the discussion, but if you want to call in at any time, feel free to call in and interrupt us at any time. Our lines are open, 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. And once again, we are here with Dr. Tivon Brown, a very young, proficient, intelligent doctor who here is one of our doctors in our cadre of doctors, young, excellent professional doctors at our Alexandra Hospital and in the community. And he's here sharing some information this evening. We are discussing breast cancer, and of course we're going to be discussing other cancers. Of course, we know that the incidence has been creeping up here on the island of Nevis, and if there's anything you want to ask about breast cancer or any type of cancer or any health related matter, Dr. Tivon Brown is here. So once again, we will now open the lines in case you want to call in. We're going to continue the discussion, but if you want to call, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Now, Dr. Brown, I know that the Pink Lily Cancer Care has been there as a support group as well. Do you think they're doing a pretty good job in terms of the support to breast cancer patients?
Man, they're doing a great job. Great job. I knew Lee Paris when she was around, running things for the organization, and I shared in her vision. She always wanted to get a center open for breast cancer support. And, it's unfortunate that she passed before we could get that mission accomplished. But Tracy's still holding on. Cindy Freeman still holding on. Other people still holding on, keeping her vision alive. And the support that they provide to the community, just with the annual walk alone.
Yes.
The awareness that is raised through that walk and through the organization, it's paramount to what's going on here in Nevis. And I just gotta say thank you for everybody who's still with the organization, everybody who's surrounding the organization. Please keep up the good work. We all are inspired.
And I assume, of course, as well, even when women get breast cancer, they can continue to live a normal life.
Oh, yes. After treatment, of course, everything basically regulates to normalcy.
We have a call online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the Mark.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Now, I was at the hospital a couple months ago, and I had certain tests and whatnot. They sent me a bill for all kind of different tests. But they didn't give me no result. They let me know whether I'm good on this, I'm good on that. So how will I work out that?
Dr. Brown?
Well, the best thing I could say is you go back to the hospital and you try and get in contact with the person that you dealt with to kind of give you a further explanation on whatever was going on during that encounter.
Yeah, because they sent me a bill here for 600 and something dollars. And the urine test, everything, all kind of tests. Come here and the ultrasound and everything. But they ain't give me a result to say, well, this is good or that is bad. I was not, but they sent a bill to me.
Caller, but have you gone back to the doctor who sent you to get those tests done? Because that is what normally happens. Pardon me?
She said, they told me that she's on vacation.
The doctor is on vacation?
Yep.
Okay, well, maybe what you need to do is to, when the doctor comes back from vacation, keep checking, and when the doctor comes back from vacation, you go and see that doctor, because normally the test results, Dr. Brown, am I correct, the results go back to the doctor, I assume.
Yes.
And so the doctor who would have sent you for those test results, that doctor is the one who will be able to give you the information and tell you what are the test results. Am I correct, Dr. Brown?
Yes. I want to add something, though. In the event that you cannot wait for the doctor to come back, you could always contact another doctor, somebody in the private field who would be willing to take on your case, and they could get the results from the lab to kind of share with you.
Then I spend more money to the other doctor, but I don't get to pay this money to the hospital.
Caller. I was going to say patient, but a caller. Once you go to get certain tests done at the hospital, generally, you'll have to pay. Once you're not a senior, you'll have to pay the required sum, right? And so, of course, when you go to your private doctor as well, you also have to pay for the consultation with the doctor, right? So, as I indicated, the best thing to do is to try and seek out your doctor when your doctor comes back from vacation, and the doctor will be able to give you all of the results and give you an explanation. And listen, caller, when you go to the doctor, do not be afraid to ask questions, because a lot of the times patients are afraid to ask questions. So any questions you have for your doctor when she's giving you the results, do not be afraid to ask questions. You want to make sure that you get everything clarified. You said that you paid a lot of money for the test, and so you need to know what the test results are.
Yeah,
all right?
Get your money's worth.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, you have a good
problem.
night. Dr. Brown, that caller, as I was speaking there, it brings me to another point, because, sometimes, why are persons sometimes afraid to ask doctors questions?
Well, sometimes they're afraid of the answers.
Comes back to what I was saying
Yeah,
earlier.
I'll be honest. Sometimes people are afraid of the answers, and that's just a part of the human condition, right? We fear what we don't understand, and we fear what we don't know. But that's what we're here for, the doctors. We're here to help you know, to help you understand. And the more time we spend with you, the more we kind of get inside your mind, the more we hear your questions, the better we could help you.
And so, of course, sometimes the onus may be on the doctor as well to encourage the persons to open up to.
Yes, we need to probe sometimes.
Definitely. All right, because, sometimes people are stressed when they go to the doctor,
Oh, no.
I personally, whenever I have to go to the doctor, when I come out of the doctor office, I feel relieved. And most people feel that way.
Yes.
And so a lot of people say, well, I feel much better when I leave the doctor's office. So people tend to have that fear sometimes of going to the doctor, and of course sometimes that is why they might be afraid to ask questions. Now, we have been discussing breast cancer, but as I said, we will try to zero in on the other types of cancers as well, because there are a lot of cancers that have been affecting persons here on the island of Nevis. I know breast cancer is one of the more popular ones.
Oh, yeah, by far.
By far. So it is the most popular one on Nevis.
If you look at the charts, for the viewers who are out there, like said, breast cancer is the roof. Other cancers are more so the window.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let us talk a little bit more about the other types of cancers that are prevalent here in Nevis.
Okay.
Okay, you go right ahead.
Thank you. So after breast cancer, we have colon cancer as the next more prominent one. After colon cancer, we also have gastric cancer or stomach cancer. After that one is skin, and then next would be prostate. And then you have the other more minor ones, thyroid, throat, these kind of things falling along those lines. But those are the top ones.
I wasn't aware that colon was so high on the list.
Oh my gosh. Really high. Really high.
So the colon cancer, is that something again that probably goes back to the diet?
100%. 100%. And a little tidbit people might not even know, some bacteria that you have in your mouth, they contribute directly to you developing colon cancer. So regular dental visits and cleanings, they're very important. You get rid of those bacteria, you cut your chances by at least 30%.
And so, the colonoscopy that is normally done at the hospital, you would encourage persons to go and get that procedure done as well?
100%. Usually you want to start at age 50. That's when we should all be getting a colonoscopy done. If you have a family history of colon cancer, then you want to start earlier, 45, 40 even. Some even younger, 35 if it's a genetic component. And you do your screening. Once everything is good, you don't have to come back again for the next 10 years. And then the same after that and after that. If for some reason they find something during your screening, they may take a biopsy, and depending on the results of that biopsy, you could come back again in 3 years or 5 years. And then if everything is good after that, you come back again in the next 10.
There are some cancers, I guess, that are termed silent killers as well. Of course, with breast cancer, once you do this self-examination and you feel the lump, or when you get the mammogram done, you are aware of what it is. But are there any symptoms of cancers like colon cancer? Any symptoms at all?
Not until you get into one of the later stages. That's when you'd start experiencing constipation because the cancer has blocked up the bowels. You start getting bloating. You start losing weight because, as I said again, these cancers are just us, unregulated growing. So they want to suck up all the nutrients that we feed our bodies, and that's why you get that weight loss.
I was just going to ask you why the weight loss, because it seems as though that almost all cancers, there is a weight loss that is related to it.
Yes, because to grow we need nutrients, and the same with them, but they need them more than us because of their fast growth. So because of this excessive growth, they need those nutrients. They steal the nutrients from us. They even create new blood vessels leading to them to take the nutrients away from the rest of the body. So that's why you start seeing that, that wasting away. You get the pains, the constipation again, the bloatedness, and just generally feeling unwell. Sometimes you get blood in the stool. That would send a lot of people to the doctor for a check, right? And those are the main symptoms you experience with colon cancer. And it depends on the area in the colon as well. It's a very long, section of the body. It's almost 6 feet long, 6 meters long, something like that. So any part of that chain, you could develop a cancer.
You spoke about the pain because, it seems as though that with every cancer, there seems to be a lot of pain associated with it. What causes all this pain? Because people who have cancer are always complaining about pain.
The cancer invades your normal space, and we have nerves everywhere. Now, when that cancer starts growing into your bones, growing into your other tissues, it kind of interrupts these nerve endings, stimulates them, forces the body to say, look, something is going on here. Something wrong is happening here. That's what pain basically is. It's just a signal from the body to tell us something is wrong. And that's why we experience that pain during these cancers.
Dr. Brown, in the cancers you were mentioning, you didn't mention pancreatic cancer. I understand that is one. Is it true that is one of the most aggressive of the cancers?
Oh, yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about pancreatic?
So pancreatic cancer, again, it comes from the pancreas area, which is what we use for metabolism. The pancreas controls our sugar balances. It tells the body, okay, we have too much sugar, let's clean that up. We don't have enough sugar, so let's release some from our stores. Now, for whatever reason, the pancreatic cancers are super aggressive. You talked about a death sentence before. Pancreatic cancer is almost a death sentence. There's few cases where you develop pancreatic cancer and you live for more than 2 years. Yeah,
and it could be sometimes it could be months as well.
Yeah,
or weeks.
6 months, couple of weeks, depending on what stage you catch it in. I'm telling you, rarely hear of a case where somebody survives pancreatic cancer for more than 2 years.
So, what causes the pancreatic cancer?
Again, just runaway effect, runaway growth. The pancreas is a very it's a very important area of the body. It does a lot, literally making insulin every day, making glucagon every day to release sugar. Now, to do all of that, we need to produce more cells, more cell production, more growth. Unregulated growth, again, for some reason, maybe it's a genetic defect, maybe it's an environmental effect, but for whatever reason, that unregulated growth happens, and we just get this aggressive growth.
So for breast cancer, of course, there's the surgery. For colon cancer, normally you take out part of the colon, I'm assuming. What do you do for pancreatic cancer? Nothing?
You could do resection of the pancreas, but again, not an ideal situation because you basically have to rearrange the intestines and your stomach and everything to get that surgery done, to get it out. And you might not get everything. And you still need your pancreas to function, so it's a last-ditch effort, a very uncomfortable effort. Usually you don't take out the whole thing, you do resections of the area where the cancer is coming from or spreading from, and hope that it hasn't gone further than there. And in a case like that, depending on which area of the pancreas you take out, you might end up with diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about bone cancer?
That is another tough one right there. Bone cancer, these bone and muscle and connective tissue based cancers, they're very slow growing as well. A few of them are very aggressive, especially in they have two basic poles, the very young and the very old. These cancers usually affect these individuals the most.
Okay.
You know, and those in the middle, you know, you'd hope that you'd catch it in time. I mean, it's really hard to kind of find that one, because you feel a random pain in your leg, you might just dismiss that and say, oh, I got a muscle cramp or something like that. But
hold your thought. We have a call online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Hi, good evening.
How you doing?
Good evening.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Dr. Brown?
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice hearing your voice.
Likewise.
Actually, my question tonight, can you please enlighten us about the stages of cancer, please?
The stages?
Uh-huh.
That's a complex staging. I mean, there's different stages for different organs as
Okay,
well.
I'm going to listen off the E, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well.
Okay, bye.
So the stages now, you know, the main stage is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, stage 1, basically you get from the pre-cancer stage, or the hyperplastic is what we usually say, which just means your cell architecture, your cell structures have changed from what they should be to what they should not be. A very disorganized structure. And that's from the unregulated growth. Now you jump from that pre-cancerous or hyperplastic stage into stage 1, where you could start differentiating completely from the normal architecture into a more defined abnormal growth. And again, stage 2, just more of that abnormal growth. Stage 3 and 4 are the most complex and the most, you know, I don't want to say like grim stages, especially 4. Those stages are where the aggressive treatments really, you know, you want to start thinking about those. And sometimes even when you're in stage 4, some of these aggressive treatments, they could give you a few more years, but sometimes it's just holding off the inevitable there.
And generally, how quickly you go from one stage to another? I know it might be different for different types of cancers.
Yes.
And I guess in you know, some of these cases, there's no playbook to say, well, it's going to take a week, it's going to take 2 weeks. It may depend on the patient as well, and the body, and how the body is responding. But generally, on an average, how long it takes to go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4?
Well, as you say, I mean, there's no set playbook for this thing, but you could go years in a more like slower growing cancer, and then in a fast one, you could be months between stages. I'm telling you, like unregulated. This growth is unchecked, unregulated. I mean, it's a parasite.
And I know sometimes people say, well, when they get diagnosed, they already get diagnosed at the late stage, at stage 4. And that is when some people feel, well, I don't have any hope, right? But go ahead, sorry.
No, there is hope still. There is hope. I mean, until the oncologist says, and that's where I go by, of course, the specialists in the field, until they say, you know, it's the end. And even they can't tell you it's the end. Only the Lord knows. But, you know, we're guided by the professionalism and the expertise from them. So there's still hope. If they're fighting, if they're willing to fight, there's hope.
Great. Now, we were discussing bone cancer just before the
Correct.
call came in, so we can continue to discuss that bone cancer, because I realized that there was a sigh when I
Yes.
mentioned bone cancer.
No, because I recently lost somebody close to me to a sarcoma.
Okay.
And, you know, it hurts, of course. But they're very hard to kind of pick up on early, because you get a pain in your bones, you get a pain in your muscle, and you might want to dismiss it as something,
Right.
just a muscle cramp or something like that, you know?
Like when most people say it's gas.
Yeah. So we it's easy to dismiss until it gets to a point where, like, wow, this pain is very, very severe.
Right.
Like, why is this hurting me like this? And you go seek medical attention, and, you know, hopefully it's at the point and the right things are ordered for you to kind of pick up on this. Now, I had a young lady in my office the other day, and she complaining about knee pain.
Right.
And, I did an x-ray,
Mm-hmm.
and only incidentally on the x-ray I found an abnormal growth within the bones.
Wow.
So there was no complaint about that area at all, but then there was abnormal growth in her bones just by the x-ray of her complaining for the knees. So a lot of it is incidental, easily dismissed just as a simple pain.
Okay. You did mention the different types of cancers. I know Dr. Thwaites come here pretty often every year to check for cancer as well. You care to mention in terms of the work that Dr. Thwaites and the urologists are doing?
My gosh, another amazing initiative going on here in the community. We get numbers up to like 700, 800. Every year the numbers get higher of the amount of men coming out to get their prostates checked. I mean, it's to the point now where I see people at the health center and I see people at the office. I ask them, have you had your prostate cancer screening done? And they're like, yeah, I went to Dr. Thwaites in January, February. They're like, everything's good. And, that's really amazing to know that so much people are going to get this thing done. Like, prostate cancer is on the low end of the list of most commons that we have around here.
So you're saying that the numbers are not high for prostate cancer on Nevis then?
Well, I can't say they're not high, Honorable, because I've had every year, I've been seeing at least 3 patients of mine diagnosed, or 3 patients coming to me with the diagnosis. And, even this year I had some passings, unfortunately, from prostate cancer. So work is still to be done in that area, but a lot of work is being done, and we're seeing the results. We're seeing the numbers go down with prostate cancer and unchecked prostate cancer. So, that's a good thing. Good things are happening. We're thankful for Dr. Thwaites and the urologists for coming here, for helping carrying on the screenings. We're thankful for the nurses and the volunteers as well who, they help out this thing. Without them, we wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't happen. The support staff for any initiative is very important. So I'm thankful for the nurses and thankful for the doctors, thankful for the organizers, even Four Seasons. I mean, they have a big role to play too.
And of course, over the years, we've heard that men are not taking care of themselves. So it seems as though we are seeing a change now.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, when you see these kind of changes, I get really happy because then that means the outreach is getting to where it needs to get. And, I'm really pleased with all of these things.
And so apart from all of what is happening in terms of the screening, in terms of the testing, in terms of what is happening with health promotion unit and so on, do you think that we can still do more with regard to health education, maybe in the schools, in the communities? What more can we do? Because the message still needs to get out there.
Always. We need to touch the streets. That's where we need to go. We need to get in the communities. We need to get to the dinner tables. We need to get to the churches. We need to get to the community centers. We need to get to the schools. I mean, the younger you learn these things, the better. They stick longer. I mean, I could still remember things I was learning in Gingerland Primary.
Right.
When it was Gingerland Primary. I could still remember some lessons from there. So the younger we go, with these messages, the better. And the further we go, the better. Because there's places, we focus on town, we focus on businesses in town, but we have businesses in the country as well. We have places in the country we could still hit and, carry out the messages. So it's on us to get back out there on the streets, and we should never stop, never get comfortable. There's always work to be done.
When somebody gets that news, you have cancer, I know you've spoken about the support system from the family, the support system from family and friends, the diet and so on. But anything else you can do in terms of a defense mechanism?
Against cancer?
Cancer.
Well, some of these conditions, these chronic conditions that we have, maybe the hypertension, the diabetes, the unchecked conditions, if we manage those, we also manage our cancer risk. So taking your medication as stated, eating how you should, staying away from things you shouldn't, like smoking. We haven't even touched lung cancer. Thank God it's not a big thing here.
So lung cancer is not a big thing?
No, not in St. Kitts Nevis.
Okay.
I'm pretty surprised about that because I see a lot of people out there smoking
right.
now. And, marijuana is basically decriminalized in this country. And, some people say you can't get cancer from that, but all smoke is dangerous, all inhalation is dangerous, and some people out there, they mix their marijuana with tobacco, and we know tobacco is a cancerous substance. So that's something we need to look out for as well. That's a big thing that we might be seeing in a couple of years, cases of either emphysema or lung cancer.
I've heard, not to interrupt you, but I've heard of cases where people have been diagnosed with lung cancer who do not smoke. Is that possible?
Oh yes, of course.
How is that possible?
Well, genetics again, secondhand smoke. We could be inhaling chemicals at our jobs. Some people are cleaners. They'd use industrial cleaning agents, and inhaling those could also cause cancer in the lungs. Genetic factors could also cause cancer in the lungs. Being close to people who smoke can cause cancer. Even the pollutants in the air. I mean, thank God we don't live in one of those big cities like New York or Chicago or one of them, but you know, that air is dirty. That air is really filthy. I mean, I remember some days.
That's why you moved back to Nevis,
yeah,
right?
for that fresh clean air.
I know.
Because I remember some days walking up my house and I would get an alert on my phone that would tell me the air quality is low today. I'm like, what does this mean? I've never seen this in my life before. So, you know, inhaling that bad air could also cause lung cancer. And, well, sometimes some things that will affect you won't affect me.
That is true.
So we can't say, oh, it never happened to Paul, so it ain't going to happen to me, right?
Okay, folks, we're having a very informative program this evening. We're here with Dr. Tivan Brown, and we're discussing cancers this evening. And, of course, as I indicated earlier, the lines are open. If you want to call in and ask Dr. Brown a question or questions, feel free to do so. Our numbers are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. That's the numbers to call to ask Dr. Brown any question. And we do have a call online. Good evening, caller. You're live on The Mark. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Brown.
Good evening. How are you?
Not bad. But I'm not Dr. Brown. Want to ask a question. MP Evelyn one question. Can I ask one question? MP
Yes,
Evelyn?
sir.
Yeah. Premier Brantley is still on island?
If what?
If Premier Brantley is on island.
No, he's not on island.
Because you advertise the convention and advertise the meeting for next Monday.
Well, you can advertise it for me now.
No. Me want to ask you.
Yes, there is a town hall meeting for next Monday at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall. Begins at 7 p.m. sharp, and of course that is to discuss the proposed project of the sustainable zone. So that's next Monday. Thank you, caller, for reminding me. So it's happening next Monday at 7 p.m. at the St. Paul's Anglican Hall, and everyone is invited to come and come early. We start promptly at 7 o'clock. Thank you, caller.
Okay. Let me say this and let me go.
Yes.
You help pass the bill. The federal parliament, right? And since that this is the third program now you come at that. I remember the bill pass, and you host the push-up after, and then you come back now. But you're showing them that nobody will feel one question to you pertaining
Caller,
to that.
you cannot tell me how to structure the show. You cannot tell me, you cannot dictate to me how to structure my show.
No.
When the Premier is on, the Premier structures his show how he wants to structure it. When I am on, I structure the show how I want to structure it. So you cannot dictate. You cannot dictate to me how to structure the show. And it's period.
Okay, then me just want to highlight to you that you're being monitored. All right.
Being monitored by who? We are presenting some very pertinent information here this evening. You don't have any question to ask the doctor?
Me pertaining to
cancer.
No, me live with a doctor. So
you live with a doctor?
No. He died now, but me live with me auntie married to one.
But that doesn't mean you can't ask the doctor here a question.
Yeah, no, me just go to them thing here, but okay. Dr. Brown, have one good evening.
All right,
every evening, we hope you will come back one at a time and the own program that so people want to ask you a couple of questions.
Well,
all
they
right?
can ask questions tonight. They can ask Dr. Brown. I have a guest this evening. We are talking about cancers this evening. So the questions have to be directed to the doctor. He's the person who is in charge tonight. Okay?
No problem. Until.
All right.
All right, take care.
Okay,
Good.
it's
All right.
it's 15 minutes after 9 o'clock, and callers, once again, the lines are open. We have Dr. Tivon Brown here this evening, a very, very intelligent young doctor here on the island of Nevis, and we are discussing cancers. We know that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know that there has been a lot of cancers being developed. A lot of persons are passing because of cancer, and sometimes we need to get more information out there to the general public as to how they can prevent, what they can do, their lifestyles, what they can do to change things to prevent the development of these cancers. And so, Dr. Brown, we have been discussing all different cancers. Let's talk a little bit about treatment, because I know that the treatments that some people have to go through, sometimes people decide, well, listen, the treatments are so terrible that sometimes they don't want to go through these treatments.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different treatments one could undergo, and it depends on your type of cancer. It depends on your stage in that type of cancer. I mean, it's a big mix and match board, basically. But let's talk about the surgical aspect of it now. After biopsy, after confirmation that you do have a cancer, depending on this stage and the area this cancer is, a doctor can surgically remove as much of it as possible, hopefully getting everything. Usually in surgery to remove a cancer, you want to get that cancer itself and a few centimeters outside of the cancer's borders to make sure you contain any possible spread. Now, after surgery, you may be okay. You may not have any more of that cancer, but just to make sure, you may still have some. You may be put on a secondary treatment such as chemotherapy or radiation therapy, depending on the cancer you have, and you could do any of these two treatments. Everything comes with its own side effects, and like we said earlier, cancer is unregulated growth of our own cells. And now if you take chemotherapy, which is chemicals that kill cells that grow fast, so it's aimed at killing cells that grow fast, which is what cancer is.
Right.
A bunch of cells growing very fast. But like I said earlier, we also have other cells that are growing really fast. Our hair, our skin, our gastrointestinal tract. And that's where you get these side effects from. The hair starts falling out because the chemo is killing those fast growing hair cells. You start get these stomach pains and this diarrhea and this sickness, because it's killing the fast-growing intestinal cells. The skin starts developing rashes and sores because it's killing those fast-developing cells. But, some people may say, as you said, the treatment is worse than the disease. But that depends on your feelings, eh? I mean, I wouldn't be mad at anybody who says, I can't do this anymore, this is too much for me, because it's actually really horrible. But it depends. If you want to push through that, potentially get yourself cured or get yourself in remission and live a little bit longer, live a normal life for your family, for those close with you. It's an uncomfortable moment now that may lead to better moments in the future.
You just use a term there that is commonly used when it comes to cancer, remission.
Remission.
And some people don't understand the term. Could you explain what that means?
Remission means that the abnormal growth that was causing the cancer is not occurring at this current time. It could potentially come back, but it's under control in that moment.
So when you have the treatment, and you said most of the cancer cells may have gone, what could potentially cause it to come back?
Well, we may not get everything. The body is a very, very, very big surface. I mean, even though we're taking up this small little space right here, all 5'10" and how much ever pounds of me, the folding that goes on inside of me is surface to surface to surface to surface, and like we said, the intestine's about 6 feet long. But that fits just in this small section of my stomach here, less than 1 foot. It's all that folding, so there's more surface area. So there's potential for a cell to get away from that and reside somewhere else, or live within that same area, and we may not see it. I mean, these cells they're microscopic, they're tiny. We're made up of trillions of these cells. So it's easy for us, our macroscopic selves, to miss a cell. And that one cell, that one little tiny microscopic cell that you cannot see without a microscope, could start growing again. And from 1, you get 2. From 2, you get 4. From 4, you get 8, 16, up and up and up and up. Exponential growth is what we call it. Every doubling doubles and then doubles and doubles and doubles until you get back to that state of having a cancer again.
Now, everybody normally have their own explanation. Sometimes the laymen have their explanation and so on. And I've heard a lot of people say that, I know you spoke about the diet earlier, but a lot of people always say that when you use too much sugar, that is a precondition to cancer. Is that a myth? Is that true?
I mean, you know, these cancers, they feed on our nutrients, and sugar is the main nutrient in our body. Without sugar, we're dead. The brain needs sugar to function. That's the only thing the brain uses to function. So we eat fat. Even if we don't eat, what the body does, it converts our muscles, it converts our fat into sugar for the brain. And the body will destroy every other organ just to keep the brain fed, to keep us going. So we need sugar. And as much as we need sugar, these cancer cells, they need sugar as well. Because without the sugar, there's no growth, there's no function. So sugar is an important component of the cancer complex. But to say sugar itself causes, no, I can't agree with that.
Okay, well, that is why the doctor is important, because as I said, a lot of people always tend to say, when you eat too much sugar, you're going to cause cancer. You know, so at least I'm happy when the doctor has the authority to speak on certain things. That is why we have programs like these when you can come in and clear up some of these things. Now, you spoke earlier about the spread of cancer. And there were times when you hear cases, well, some of it maybe myth as well, where you find people say, well, this person have this type of cancer, right? And they may say they have colon cancer or liver cancer, and now it has spread to the brain, it has spread to the bone, it has spread to all different parts of the body. How does that work?
Well, because of the interconnectedness of the body. Everything's connected by the blood vessels and lymphatic vessels. But within the cancer complex itself, again, remember I was talking about the pre-cancer stage or the hyperplastic stage.
Yes.
Now, after you get to the hyperplastic stage where things start to change, different to the architecture that's surrounding it, you start to get into the stage 1s and then the more elevated stages of this cancer, where instead of being contained within the area, these cells develop the ability to break away from that area and survive in other areas. They set up shop in other areas. Usually, you know, all things are bound within a complex. My skin is always going to be my skin because it's bound as my skin. My muscles are bound as my muscles. But with cancers, they don't follow the rules. They get away from these boundaries and they travel to other areas of the body, either by the lymphatic vessels, local spread, or even the blood, and end up in places that are very much connected, like the liver, the lungs, the brain. These are 3 of the most common areas you get spread to.
Okay.
From any cancer in particular would spread to these areas more commonly because they're more fed. The liver being the 2nd largest organ of the body, the brain being one of the most important parts of the body, and the lungs being very vascular. So that's why it's so easy for these cancers to get to these areas.
And I'm assuming that once cancer spreads to places like the brain, there's no hope.
I mean, there's still hope. There is still hope. Yes.
In the brain?
Yes, there's still. I mean, we got cancers developing in the brain, and you just resect it, and there's still hope. There's not much change to the individual. So we got brain surgery now. I mean, we have so much technology now. In the next 50 years, these things will be almost laughable.
As you say, much technology now. I'm surprised that with technology now, I am surprised that the researchers out there cannot come up with treatments that are less debilitating to the patient.
Well, right now they're in the phases of developing these like tailored treatments towards you, the individual specifically. Of course, at the beginning of any phase of research and treatment, it's going to be super expensive. I mean, these things probably cost almost in the hundreds of thousands of dollars right now, but over time, as more use of these things become normalized, then the economics will come into play, where if it gets cheaper, the more people use it.
All right, we have a call online. Good evening, caller. You're live on the mark.
Hi, good evening again, Dr. Brown.
Good evening.
Maureen.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. It's really sad memories for me, to be honest with you. You know, I had my sister passed away probably like 2 years ago, and it's really sad, but it's still informative. One more question. I remember being around my sister when she was sick, hearing about morphine, which I didn't want to research it because I didn't have the courage. But now listening to you, of course, I would ask this question. I remember, like, tamoxifen. That was a drug for cancer long time ago, when maybe like 30-something years ago. And then hearing about morphine, like, can you please explain morphine to me, please? Please want to listen about it?
Of course, no problem.
Okay, then. Thank you.
And thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
So morphine is one of the best pain control medications that we have. And like you said earlier, the Honorable, it's very painful. Like these cancers, they hurt. They really hurt. I mean, they take the life out of you. The morphine takes the edge off. It controls the pain. The extreme pain you feel in these cancers. It's not like a paracetamol or a Voltaren or ibuprofen, which is something you take for a little pain you feel in your muscles and bones. Morphine is reserved for the most intense pains that you could expect to feel. So something like cancer, you would definitely want to get a little bit comfortable and get that treatment, because that pain alone may make you even get in a worse state.
Wow. Okay, we have a question.
Yeah. What is the difference between a tumor and a cancer? Is there a difference? And I guess because you mentioned earlier, some people get brain cancer. I know some people also get brain tumors.
Yes.
Or they get tumors in different parts of their body. So is there a difference?
Okay, so a tumor is just the general term we use for growth. A tumor could be benign or cancerous or malignant, as we say as well. Cancer.
Could you explain those terms, malignant and benign?
So benign basically means non-cancerous, non-spreading, non-aggressive. Now we may have growths in the body that are, I wouldn't say they're abnormal, but they're not cancerous. They're not going to kill you or take your life. Something like a lipoma is something that a lot of people around here have. It's just a growth of fat cells under the skin. Now that is a tumor, but it's benign because it's not aggressive and it's not deadly. Malignant or cancerous is a tumor that is aggressive, that will grow, that will multiply, and that will potentially take your life if left unchecked.
Because that was an excellent question, because a lot of the times when we hear people have a tumor, we think cancer.
Yes.
That's the first thing comes to mind. And then you hear that the person have to tissues overseas to
Yes.
test and that kind of thing. And most of the times we hear the tumor is cancerous. And so a lot of the times once a patient here, you have a tumor, the first thing that comes to their mind, I have cancer.
Oh, no.
So I'm happy that you cleared that up.
Yes, me too. Thank you for the question, Carla.
Excellent question,
Yes.
Melissa. We have another call online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Good evening. My question is, when metastasis is diagnosed, is there a possibility that the patient can go into remission?
That it's possible. I mean, it will be a tougher situation because then instead of fighting one area that's cancerous, you're fighting multiple now, and you might find a different area where the cancer has spread to, and you might have areas where it's gone but you didn't find it there. So that's why chemotherapy and radiation therapies are very important, because that controls the metastasis more so than just surgical resection.
We're using some big terms here. The caller spoke about metastases. You're speaking about it, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners do not know what it is. So could you explain?
Right, metastases just simply means the spread.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you may have spread from one area to a next, and you find it spread into a next area, but it may be in another area that you haven't seen it in yet. Because remember, we're talking about small microscopic cells. These cells could stay there in a fold and then start growing and growing and growing, and then you're like, where this come from? But it was always there, just in its smallest version.
Doctor, a lot of the time, we have another call online? Yeah, we have another call. The caller is still there? Hello? Caller? Hello? Hello? The caller seemed to have been there but not answering. Caller, could you probably call back? Our lines are still open. We are here with Dr. Tivan Brown this evening, and we are getting a lot of very, very pertinent information. And so if you need any more information on anything whatsoever, whether it's about cancer, about your general health, Dr. Tivan Brown is at your disposal this evening. So please, you can call 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. We just have another 27 minutes or so to go, and it's not very often when we have this kind of expertise here free of cost. Normally, if you have to go to Dr. Brown's office, you'll have to pay. He's here tonight free of cost.
For free.
And so for free. And so if you have any questions whatsoever, you can feel free to call in and ask Dr. Brown. We do have a caller. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Well, I'm the caller.
Okay, good. Okay,
I have
all right.
another question. You covered colon cancer. I know there's another aggressive one, stomach cancer. What's the difference with those two?
Well, just the area.
Just the area.
Yes. So the
But
stomach.
then what goes in the stomach normally goes in the colon. So how does...
Okay, so most food and chemicals and liquids, they spend 30 to 40 minutes in the stomach. Whereas in the intestines, you may spend a whole 24 plus hours there. So that's more exposure. In the stomach, it's still not raw waste. It's still usable material being broken down. When you get to the intestines, that's when it's all the waste that we don't want, the refuge that we defecate. We get rid of that. So imagine if having that in your system, on your cells for a whole day, repeatedly for your whole life. This is going on, the exposure, and that's why we have that as a fast growing area. We get rid of those dead and damaged cells from that exposure to the waste, and that's basically it. More exposure of a more hazardous material in the intestines than in the stomach.
And I have one more question about the colon cancer.
Yes.
Does cleansing work, detox, and all that stuff?
Wow, that's a tough one, eh? That's like alkaline water. Now, cleansing is important. I find there's value in it. Some people may say there's none. Some people may say we're just doing an old fad. But I think it's important to detox the body. I mean, even now, recently, there's a study coming out that says doing a fast for about a week or two would help get rid of damaged cells in the body. So something that's been around since religious days, Bible days, 3,000 plus years ago, we're now coming back and saying, you know, this thing is actually really important for your health. But we already knew that. So, cleansing, we're getting rid of these toxins. It's good. I wouldn't say don't do it every month, don't overdo it, but a cleanse here and there, a fast here and there, that goes a long way, I feel like.
Fantastic. Now, coming off of that question as well, because I know I've heard persons say that they believe in natural healing, natural medicines, bush and so on. And so they actually, some persons will say, well, listen, if I get cancer, I am going to treat myself. I am going to use the local remedies. I'm going to use the local bush. And I have heard of persons who claim that they have used local remedies and the cancer would have disappeared. Is that possible?
That's a tough one. That's even tougher than the cleanse. So now, a lot of these medicines we have around here, these herbal medicines, they do have anti-cancer properties, but the problem is they're not in the dosages that is required to get rid of the actual cancer. Now, we have a lot of medicine here, and I have a project coming up. Maybe hopefully next year I could share it with the public. But I have a project coming up based on a lot of these medicines we have here growing naturally in Nevis. And I found a lot of them have anti-cancer properties. But the anti-cancer properties in these herbs and medicines, they are mostly in the preventive stage. They are...
So which means that you should be taking them
before you get the cancer, to keep the cancer away. Right? There's a lot of antioxidants in these things. There's a lot of components in them that clean up cells, that fight cancer, that fight DNA damaged cells and these kind of things. So, I mean, after you get a cancer, drinking the bush is almost, you know, I wouldn't say meaningless, but it's less effective than if you do it before you have the cancer.
So do you think that more research needs to be done with some of these natural herbs,
100%.
these remedies and so on?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it would be great if we could set up a research laboratory here in Nevis or somewhere in the wider Caribbean to look more deeply into these plants we have here. I mean, we have plants we haven't even discovered yet. We need to get botanists out there in the jungles looking at these plants and scientists researching what they could do for us.
Well, I believe that should be done as well, because I said, going back to when we were speaking about the treatment and how devastating the treatment can be on someone's body, and that is why, you know, many people say, well, I prefer to just kick the bucket and don't get this treatment, because some people cannot take the problem of the hair falling out, they can't take the weight loss, they can't take the stress of having to go to the treatment every 2 days, every 3 days, what have you, and that sort of thing. So I guess we really need to do some more work in terms of those natural remedies.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Dr. Brown, time is winding down. We still have a lot to discuss, but time is winding down. In terms of when people get the diagnosis, there may be some, I know earlier on you spoke about some family members do not tell their immediate family, do not tell someone else who is close to them. It may be a case where sometimes the person who is diagnosed don't feel like their close relative or their close friend have the know-how in terms of helping them to deal with this scourge, this cancer, because it is a scourge.
Yes, it is.
What would you say to persons who have relatives or friends who have cancer in terms of helping them to deal with this problem?
Okay. So for me, I'm trying to take it to a personal level. When I have an issue, I rather hear about solutions than about problems.
Right.
I rather hear I rather the encouragement than the questions. How you get this? Why you get this? What you were doing wrong? These kind of things. I don't want to hear that. That's discouraging. I'm already in a bad state. I want to hear positive things. I want to hear the support. I want to feel the support. Give that good energy to that person. They already are going through something horrendous. They're already feeling one of the worst things they could feel in life. Don't add to that. Add positivity to them. That's what they need. Fill them with positivity. Fill them with support. Fill them with solutions. If you yourself don't have the answers, or you can't find the answers, find the answers with a professional in that area. If you can't get to the oncologist, then you get to the closest thing, which was a primary doctor. Somebody who could guide you, answer some of your questions, and hopefully refer you to that oncologist and get you a more speedy, referral, a more speedy appointment with them to answer your questions in a more in-depth, more supportive type of way,
Based on the fact that we're having a lot more cancers in the Federation, how many oncologists do we have in the Federation?
I know of two. Two. Dr. Grant Tate and Dr. Leon.
Do you think that's enough? Do you think we need to invest in more oncologists?
No.
Do you think more persons here in Nevis need to specialize in that area, bearing in mind that we are getting a lot of cancer, different types of cancers?
For sure, that's a field we need to get into, because even outside of the cancers themselves, an oncologist is also a hematologist dealing with blood disorders and blood-based problems, which we also have a lot of. We have sickle cell, we have hemophilias, we have combination of both. And even though those aren't so common in our population as, the core division population, we have people coming in from the outside, who these illnesses may run more in their bloodlines, in their family, in their countries, and they deserve attention too. They deserve care as well. So we should get oncologists / hematologists here more, based here, to kind of deal with these issues more. I mean, St. Kitts is a far place to go for treatment as well, and then you go over. It's extra far when you're having a treatment like dialysis or a treatment like a cancer therapy. You go over, that boat ride doubles, triples, quadruples, because you're feeling sick, you're feeling ill. You don't want to be riding on the waves after a chemotherapy session. I mean, that's instant nausea, instant vomiting, discomfort.
You're so correct.
Yes, so we need one here on Nevis. We need two.
Okay.
At least two.
We have another call online. Good evening, caller. You're live on the mark.
Hi, Mr. Evelyn.
Hi.
This is Florine again.
Yes.
This question is for you, please.
I'm not a doctor. Let me remind you.
That's why it's for you now.
Okay.
Sector. You as the NIA, Minister of Government. Okay, for me, I know what my sister went through.
Yes.
Going back and forth from thinking. Trust me, it was very bad for her, awful. And sometimes we have to go on the boat and the weather does be really, really bad.
Yes.
And most of the time she goes down like twice a week. And trust me, she does be tired, she does be frustrated, and, one and everything. And now we're here talking, like, it would be nice if the oncologist, because I think it probably have more than one.
I think there are two, right,
Okay.
Doctor?
Two I know of, yes.
So it would be a good idea if the NIA get one of them to come up at least once a week.
Yes.
So the patients up here in Nevis could get the service from the oncologist. Because trust me, it doesn't be good, to be honest with you. It'll be rather frustrating. So that is something I think like the NIA need to look into.
Yes.
To help our people here in Nevis.
Well, I think that's an excellent suggestion. Of course.
Please, because I know what I went through with my sister, and I know what she went through, and trust me, it could be rather frustrating sitting in the office all day until you finally get to come over on the last boat.
Thank you very much.
Please take it to the cabinet.
I will. That is a great suggestion.
Please.
Thank you very much.
I know the struggle. Okay?
Yes, it is. So.
Okay, thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
You're
that is
welcome.
a great suggestion, because I know persons have to travel over, and you did say, you did mention it, Dr. Brown, already, that it could be a drain on the body when you have to go over, and just even when you're on the boat thinking of the treatment, getting there, it could be very, very stressful as well. And so it comes back to what we were saying in terms of oncologists, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier on as well in terms of persons specializing, because you're saying that it is important that we get our own oncologists here in Nevis as well.
Yes, very important.
Okay, all right, good. Well, we are hoping that some of the young doctors who are listening could probably maybe try to go down that line as well. Dr. Brown, now the urologist deals with prostate cancer. You spoke about the oncologists, right? The two oncologists who are in St. Kitts. Now, do they deal with all different types of cancers? Do they, once it's an oncologist, do they deal with breast cancer? In breast cancer, do they deal with all the different cancer, colon cancer, and so on? What do they do? Do they deal with all the different types of cancers?
Yes, they deal with all. I mean, in any specialty, you could have a subspecialty as well. They may choose to subspecialize in colon or subspecialize in lungs, but I think here in the Federation, they cover all the bases. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And so indeed we have the technique here, and we have the technicians in St. Kitts. It's just that we're hoping that we can get them in Nevis now. The good thing is that we now have the mammogram machine on the island of Nevis. So
a blessing.
That is one step closer. And so to the caller who called a while ago as well, we are doing things step by step. So we are hopeful that now that we have the mammogram machine, very soon we can get an oncologist. And so Dr. Brown, you and the other folks at the hospital as well, you also have to lobby the administration to see how quickly we can get an oncologist or two here on the island of Nevis as well.
I'll take you up on that.
Because as I said, trust me, it is really difficult for some of those patients who have to do the boat ride over and then come back, and then, you know, I see how drained they are sometimes.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Brown, we are winding down on our program this evening. Has been very, very informative. We have another 13, 14 minutes to go, so if there's anyone who have a burning question out there, please don't be afraid to call. Our numbers are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. We have been discussing cancers this evening, and we do have another call online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
On the mark?
Yes.
I could talk to Mark right now.
Mark is, you have to talk to me tonight. Mark is not here tonight. You have to talk to me tonight.
Oh, so I can't come on the air?
You are on the air. You are on the air, so go right ahead.
What I want to say, right, so that the people that know about the West Indies cricket, they don't want a coach, they want a teacher.
Okay.
I got a man to recruit men into them.
All right. So you said the West Indies team want a teacher, not a coach. Caller. All right. Caller. That caller was talking a little cricket. He said the West Indies need a teacher and not a coach. Dr. Brown, there is a myth. And I mean, I believe maybe some people may not, most people may not believe, but some people still believe that if someone has cancer, that is contagious, and you should not touch the person.
What?
You should not go close to the person. You should not associate with the person. You should not sit down to eat with the person. You should not have a conversation with the person.
Really?
Yeah, I believe there's still that myth out there.
My goodness. I'm surprised to hear that.
So you need to talk to our folks and remind them that cancer is not contagious.
No.
And when they have their relatives, they should continue to communicate with them regularly as possible.
I mean, they need you more than ever in that moment. You know, you can't catch cancer from someone by touching them, breathing the same air as them, getting sneezed on by them, anything like that. I mean, the closest to a contagious cancer in this life that we have is cervical cancer. You know, and that's passed on by...
Oh, you didn't touch that one.
Right. I mean, that's actually very low here. So, I mean, that's good. Our programs have been working. The health centers, pap smears, everything, they're going great. So cervical cancer now, you know, you have sexual activity between two persons. One person may be infected with the HPV virus, pass that on to the other. And in this case, you know, only the woman has a cervix. So unfortunately, most of that burden falls on them.
Right.
You know, the same thing, unregulated growth. In this case, it's caused by the HPV virus that they contract sexually from their partner. And that can lead to the development of cervical cancer. Now, the Federation has been taking part in a vaccination effort against the HPV virus in the schools. And, you know, we vaccinate the kids between 11 and 12 years old. And once you get that vaccination, your risk of developing cervical cancer or passing cervical cancers, because we vaccinate the girls and the boys, drops by almost 100%. So that's one of the most effective vaccines we have in the Federation, and that is going to be doing a lot of good for our community and our population.
There's a lot of myth about a lot of cancers. Skin cancer. I mean, there used to be this talk as well that if you're exposed too much to the sun, you get skin cancer. Is there any truth in that?
This is true.
Okay.
This is true.
Well, let's talk about this then.
I mean, the skin is the biggest organ in the entire body. And, you know, we're down here with the most vibrant sun in the whole entire world. And it's beautiful, but overexposure can cause skin cancer. And I want to say out there, black people can get skin cancer. We can get skin cancer, you know? I mean, I've had patients with skin cancer, some of the most aggressive, which is melanoma. And melanoma is coming from the pigment that, you know, the cells that give us our dark pigment. So to see that in patients, we know we could get cancer. We could get cancer from the very thing that makes us dark skinned.
Wow.
So, you know, that's something to look out for. I mean, that's one of the most common, as you know, on the list I gave you. That's one, even above prostate. So we have people who have skin cancer here in the Federation, have, you know, had skin cancer in the Federation, and, you know, it's not something to overlook. It's a big possibility for us. So wearing sunscreen in, you know, moments where you're overexposed in the sun, carnival, Culturama, beach, if you work construction or if you work in a field exposed in the sun a lot, wearing sunscreen is very important. Yes, we can still get skin cancer even though we're black, and sunscreen is not just for lighter skin or white folks.
And you know, most black people tend to think sunscreen is not for them.
No, it's for us. It's very much for us as well. If you want to get into sunscreen, the best to get is something up to SPF 60. Anything above that is just a marketing strategy. No effectiveness above 60. Extra effectiveness.
How aggressive is skin cancer?
Very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. I mean, yes, the skin has a lot of good borders to kind of keep them in place, but once they break that border, the skin is everywhere.
And so what are some of the symptoms of skin cancer?
Symptoms of skin cancer, we do the A, B, C, D, E's. A, asymmetry. If you see a new mark on your skin or even an old mark on your skin that has changed shape, it's not a perfect circle, it's looking a little bit more spiked, you know, if you see something like that, that's a sign of something going wrong. You may want to get that checked out. B, borders. If that new mark that you observe or old mark that you had gets bigger, it's going past a certain level, you know, you see it spreading, you may want to get attention to that. If it's looking bumpy, contoured, if the color is off, what used to be dark is now light, what used to be light is now dark, it's red, you see changes in that area, you want to get that looked at, you want to get that checked out. Diameter, if you see something getting larger than 2 millimeters, 2 centimeters, you may want to get that looked at. I mean, just a second opinion, it won't hurt at all. The E, if you, what the E is, I can't remember the E now, you know, but very important. If you see a thing on your skin anywhere, you should check your skin regularly.
I was just going to ask you about checking your skin, because I don't, that may something that people don't do.
No,
so you're telling us here tonight that people need to check their skin.
Oh yeah,
often.
I was talking to a patient about that just Saturday gone. I mean, it's important to check the moles that we know. We have moles.
Yes.
Everybody should have a mole here and there. We need to know where our moles are at. If you see a new mole developing between yesterday and today, then you know that's not normal. You should know where all your moles are from.
So some of these moles could be cancerous?
Yes, they could always change. Any damage could happen to that mole that would cause it to have unregulated growth. Yes.
Wow. I wasn't aware that skin cancer is that prevalent here on the island of Nevis. So, and of course, with the intensity of the sun these days, I guess that makes it even worse.
Yes.
Because we have been getting some real heat these days in the 90s, 91, 92, 93.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess that that is a sign for us to make sure that we pay attention to our skin.
I mean, one thing that's protecting us is, you know, the ozone layer
Mm-hmm.
that we have in the atmosphere over us. The whole world is covered by it, but certain areas in this world, the layer is very weak, so they get more of the harmful rays from the sun shining down on them, like places like Australia.
Yes.
Their layer is basically gone.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's due to being in close proximity to places like China, India, that does a lot of manufacturing. You know, the pollution that they produce, it doesn't just stay over China and India.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, we're a globe.
Mm-hmm.
This thing goes around, and it ends up in places like that. You know, we might be doing good down here in the Caribbean, but we feel the effects of our neighbors around us as well. So, you know, something to look out for. That's why I'm really glad for the environmental initiatives that we're taking here, and the recycling, the banning of plastics and styrofoam, you know, the controlled burnings that we do. These kind of things will protect us from these secondary effects like cancers and you know, depleted environments.
Wow. Dr. Brown, we just have another 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes actually, so we're going to be in our wrap-up phase now, and I want you to quickly again, I want you to talk to persons who may have had that dreaded diagnosis of cancer. In terms of you get a diagnosis, how do you move forward? What advice you give them? I know you would have done that before, but that, for those persons who may have tuned in late, and this is extremely important. What advice do you give to persons once they have gotten that diagnosis?
Right. So once you've gotten the diagnosis, it's not the end. There's a lot of hope, and there's a lot that we could do, especially in this 21st century that we're living in. The world is very connected. If we can't help you here, we'll help you get help elsewhere. And you should always lean on your support system, lean on those closest to you. You may not feel they would understand, you may not feel like they have the answer, but their support can carry you a long way. This step you can't take, they could help you take. So again, I want to stress, it's important to lean on those closest to you. Trust them and let them guide you, let them help you along the way.
I want you as well to remind our females, and you need to remind them at what age they should start doing the mammogram,
Yes.
how often they ought to do that. Ask them to take advantage of the service that we have here now on the island of Nevis.
Oh yes, please. I mean, I'm very thankful for that mammogram machine. I've been using it a lot in my referrals. Now, you want to start getting these mammograms done at age 40. You can start earlier if you have a history of breast cancer in your family. 35 would be good. And you do it every year. Annually, you want to get this mammogram done. Sometimes if the radiologists pick up a little thing that they want to have a second opinion on, they might send you to do an ultrasound or a repeat mammogram in 6 months or so, but usually every year is when you want to do a mammogram, right? And screening, you can't beat screening. Screening is the most important, the most effective thing you could do in the healthcare system.
Fantastic. Dr. Brown, any closing words?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me here, giving me the opportunity to speak to everyone out there. And I know I've been hearing from a lot of people that they miss me on the radio. Hopefully they tune in now to hear me talk. They could catch the rebroadcast tomorrow.
Right.
Just tune in. I'll be back. I mean, for sure. I'll always be there doing community messaging, getting out there, getting the message out. And you could always ask me any question. And, you know, it's great that we have a system that supports like this, that, you know, honors free speech, that honors caring for others. And you can't beat something like this. You know, we look at other places out there and we think, why we don't have this, why we don't have that. But they look at us and wonder why they don't have what we have. And what we have is irreplaceable, and we should cherish it to the maximum.
Dr. Brown, I want to thank you so very much for accepting the invitation to come. It's an incredible amount of information that we've had a wealth of information this evening, and I'm sure all the persons who have been listening, those who are following online, have been much better informed about cancer, breast cancer, and the different types of cancers. You really provided a lot of information. You were spot on with everything, and I just want once again to thank you and to congratulate you on the excellent work that you have been doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, we want to remind folks that the show is rebroadcast tomorrow. We want to remind you that on Sunday at 4 o'clock at NEPAC, please come on down. Wear something blue for the Big Blue Machine for the convention that's taking place, the CCM convention taking place at NEPAC this coming Sunday at 4 p.m. And then, of course, on Monday the 27th, we have that town hall meeting at the Anglican Hall in Charlestown starting at 7 p.m. sharp. And so on behalf of my guest, Dr. Tiven Brown, it has been my pleasure hosting On the Mark this evening on behalf of the Honorable Mark Brantley. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and it has been a pleasure providing all of this very important and pertinent information to you this evening. Remember to tune in again tomorrow at 1 p.m. for a rebroadcast of this very important On the Mark episode. So, on behalf of all of us here at the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse, on behalf of all of us here at On the Mark, the Honorable Eric Evelyn thanking you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of this evening. God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis